This conference will now be recorded.
Mayor Mike, members of the Board of Trustees. My name is Jerry Wiley. I live on Lake Street right here in the village of Owego. And I thank Kim Norton for supplying you with, each of you with my one-page summary of the issue of the Riverwalk flooding. As someone who runs on the Owego Riverwalk on a daily basis, I enjoy the experience. Every single day it's different. And it's delightful with the exception of when it floods. It is my understanding that the Riverwalk was built to sustain flooding, but that no plans for restoration or maintenance were created. Thus, the thick and slippery wet silt left on the path by the Susquehanna River remains there when the river water subsides. I don't know if it may have been hard to imagine that. You figure the water's just going to subside and everything's going to be fine. I myself wouldn't have guessed that all that silt would remain. So it's left there in that slippery, wet state. Occasionally it dries over time to an irregular crater-like substance until someone in the community gets upset enough about it to try to clean up the mess, him or herself. So last year that person was me. Yesterday morning it was local resident Kevin Benjamin, who I met for the first time, delightful guy, who is a runner, much better than I, much younger. And he bought himself a shovel for this event, and he worked for hours removing the thick silt on the 1,000 square foot portion of the Riverwalk that just hangs on to that silt forever. Hundreds of people on the unofficial Owego Village of Owego website cheered him on for stepping up to this task as a volunteer. And some saw this as a, community spirit. This is great. Owego does this and so forth. But frankly, if you're that one person, you can use some help. I spoke with him tonight. He's rather sore. um, if the village is able to achieve power washing capabilities next year, I believe that's the intention. There still remains what I think is the and I've done a little research on this. There's a pre-power washing state where you need to remove that thick silt so you don't have a big mud bath. You know, to that, it's just that 1,000 foot area that's the lowest part that hangs on to the heavy duty silt that you see in that one picture that I supplied. To that end, I'm asking for your permission to create an ad hoc committee to come up with a plan for the timely restoration after a flood so it doesn't hang on week after week being either unusable or unsafe, very, very slippery. Um, so I anticipate it being just one or two meetings, and hopefully a lot of people will come up and say they want to help out, and then they could be on call perhaps for coming out when the conditions are such or have dried out enough after the water recedes. So that's what I'm asking, if I could uh, host up a committee and with your blessings and I did ask Fred this morning if we have equipment that could handle this instead of human beings, and currently he doesn't, we don't have that kind of equipment. So that's my request.
We're looking at buying like a sweeper broom for one of the tractors, but I don't think that's gonna help with it.
Well, what I would like to do is buy a push blade that's a poly blade to go in front of it, but I need equipment for the winter time.
Right.
I need a push blade to go on it, it's poly, it's not a steel, so it doesn't scratch it with that. So if we had a poly blade on the front of the Kubota, we could push it off. But that's in time, because I just can't just buy it.
Would that be usable when it's still wet?
Absolutely.
Yeah, be like a plow,
Yeah, it'd be a push blade.
like a
Yeah.
big shovel.
Yeah.
Drivable
Is that
shovel.
something we're gonna hook a power washer up to too? Maybe put in the back of that equipment?
What?
It's kind of power wash, which the blade cannot scrape.
Oh, like behind it, you mean?
The fire department has something on the back of their Kubota that has a water thing. So I don't know what they use that for, but it's on their Kubota.
I don't know how much
Kubota.
pressure.
Yeah.
For when they fire grass fires.
Right. That's
For,
what-
so it really could actually spit out some water.
Yeah, I don't know
so-
what kind of pressure it's supposed to have. Rusty?
Once you push the mud off and you wash it, you can brush it, and then it will come off. But nobody knows how bad it's gonna screw it up over time on that brick.
Well, yeah, it's concrete is what it is.
But you're gonna take that brickness off of it.
Probably. Rusty?
Jerry, are you asking for, because I'm reading here, an ad hoc committee to research options, or are you asking for a committee like the cemetery committee to be people that will volunteer to take care of this?
I think it would be both, because a little bit of research, because I'm not the person with all the information. I think I have it pretty well figured out, and that in light of the fact that we don't have machinery to do it, that a team of people like Kevin, to help Kevin out to do it would be the way to go. But like the fire department idea, maybe we could borrow some equipment, maybe there are other options, and that would be part of the research that the ad hoc committee could do too. So like both, and I'm just thinking of it as short term and what happens next time, and until maybe a better solution comes about.
I'm fine with it.
I would be on the ad hoc committee.
Great, thank
For
you.
sure, if you guys hear about using that.
Well, so I did actually send a post to Eric, the fire chief, and he said that they would help, wash it off or whatever.
Oh,
There's this whole thing, we have to we have to pay to refill the trucks now, but whatever, we'll cover that.
And of course, we didn't get our hydrant down there like we
Right.
wanted to do.
But we can use one of the trucks to help, or the Kubota thing or whatever.
We have to use foot, but we never do, I wouldn't want to put a fire truck on.
Oh, no, we can't get anything like that down.
I don't know how long the hose is going.
so the next step then would be to connect with the officer.
Yeah, it's Eric Hawkins, he's our fire chief.
Who's this?
Eric Hawkins,
Eric Hopkins,
he's the fire chief.
fire chief. Yeah,
But these
thank-
things that we're talking about are what you just asked for, just talked about and said, these are the washing things. And your opinion was that other things have to be done before we get to the washing thing. So that will be just, as you do, if somebody does research, that'll just be the kind of the end product after we do all the other things or whatever has to be done.
Yeah, good point.
And our last DRI project will put a water line down there for a power washer or hose or whatever. But that's, again, like the last step of the cleaning, really.
Okay.
So we haven't canceled that. We can still, that's still our
Yeah,
thing to get
that's still out,
the hose bib or the
Yeah.
hydrant or whatever. Okay.
Can I motion to establish the committee
Sure.
and can Jerry be the chair of an ad hoc committee?
Like the cemetery committee or whatever.
Yeah, okay. And then, does anybody else want to be on it from the board?
Fran, right here.
You want more? I'll do it.
I would be honest.
There you go.
Yeah, Okay, so we'll make sure that we contact both of you to join the meetings.
So you're gonna make that motion, but can I
Yeah.
interrupt you? Well, I don't know if that's the whole motion or whatever, but I'm gonna second some motion so we can talk about it.
Oh, I'm making a motion then, and that,
That we establish. a committee.
establish that committee for the timely restoration of the Riverwalk cleanup after flooding events.
Okay, so and I'll second. At the moment, that committee is going to be the research committee. Eventually, I mean, you can, as you move along, you can make that into a work committee or whatever kind of committee you want to make it into. Is that the plan?
I would assume the plan is to figure out the best way to deal with it.
Things to do.
And
Yeah, then you'll figure out
Whatever
about
we need.
getting volunteers and other.
There are a lot of related issues, but it would be nice to just deal with the first one.
Mike, would you, in general, you're the mayor appoints committees, would you like to give that authority to someone else to find the members for the committee?
Yeah, I would say Terry and Laura, Jerry.
The three of them can find the further members?
Just thinking Kevin Benjamin himself, who did the work, would
Right,
like to be part of it.
It'll be up, if Mike's gonna give that authority, it's gonna be you guys to decide.
It looks like he advised us to do it, and that's a good thing, so we should do that.
Yeah, he did it all himself. He's
Yeah.
probably heard.
That's quite a bit of money.
No, I've cleaned mayflies off of it. That's not fun either.
That's a smaller.
Yeah. Fancy. All right, let's vote on that.
Yes.
Make it committee. Rusty?
Yes?
Laura?
Yes.
Dave?
Yes.
Jerry?
Yes.
And yes. Very good. Let us keep us posted with what you find, especially if you find that we can buy stuff to help or whatever, equipment wise.
Yeah, thank you.
Any other?
Now, remember, I just want to slow the whole world down. Remember, you're advisory committee. Don't go out and, I'm talking to you, It's just,
It's clean right now.
yeah, advisory committee.
Hopefully it doesn't flood again.
You guys do a great job of
But
finding
it is
things out.
making
and working
flood.
stuff.
I mean, that's the purpose it's there.
Well, we'll use that blade for other purposes too, but this is a
Yes.
great way that we can like say that we can try to buy one. Try to buy a push blade, a poly blade.
Did he push snow off it or whatever?
Yeah.
She's going fast. We haven't
We
haven't bought a blade yet. We haven't.
I gotta put it on my equipment list though, for the, our hazard mitigation.
Yeah, get an electric blade. Yeah.
No, just like what we need for cleaning up after storms or prevention.
Apparently you can after.
Maybe we get all the dirt out of the river.
Sludge mud.
Kevin Millar said it's fine to do it, which, but he said
I'm sure they
DEC,
don't care.
DEC told him when he was mayor, that after the flood, the stuff that comes out of the river can go back in.
Huh,
But only then.
okay.
While it's still
The
turbid.
cars, the oil, all of it.
Right.
Yeah, who cares? I mean, all the stuff that comes off the fringe.
Yeah. All right, any other public comment? All right, we'll move on to our guests tonight, who are tobacco-free brewing sales.
So I'm gonna hand out, these are brochures, just in case you're interested in reaching out to us. Our program does more than what I'm gonna talk about tonight, so feel free to look it over if you're interested. So we're here tonight to talk about tobacco-free outdoor policies. So many of you noticed this when I came in.
Who are you?
Grace Merrill, sorry.
Say again.
Grace Merrill.
Grace Merrill.
Yep, I'm the
Thanks.
community engagement coordinator for this program.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, no problem. So we have a youth program. It's called the Reality Check. One of our programs is right here in Owego Free Academy. We've got about 8 students who are really dedicated to tobacco control and all of the issues that we have. So we actually did a tobacco litter cleanup here in the village of Owego. And I chose, of course, this, which looks like a snack bin. Like 5 people told me that it looks like it's snacks. This is not a very nutritious dinner. But all of this was found on Village of Owego property within the past week or so. So obviously, there's lots of cigarettes. Cigarettes are the #1 littered item in the entire world. And something interesting that we found, which is right here at the top, it kind of looks like a candy bar. This is actually a cannabis vape. I'm not sure where it would have been sold, but this was actually found like right outside near the DMV. So I just thought that was really interesting. And part of the reason why we're here tonight is because we work with municipalities to do tobacco-free outdoor policies. Um, Usually it's an ordinance or a resolution because New York State requires that, children's parks be smoke-free. Now that cannabis is legal, we're noticing that where there might be signs that say no smoking, with a picture of a cigarette, people don't understand it or don't know that that also includes vaping products and cannabis products. So I wanted to let you all know that our program exists. We have a public health law center that can help with policies like this if that's something you're interested in. Most places that we've worked with in Tioga, it's as simple as adopting a resolution to the current law. Um, and this can be for all municipal grounds. Like I said, this was found right outside the DMV, a lot of this. Some of this is from the Riverwalk, some of it's from the courthouse, and really all around. There's lots of businesses actually in downtown Owego that we've worked with to create smoke-free policies just for their business. Gary was just telling me that the Laughing Place might be in need of one. So this is something that we see that the kids in the Owego Free Academy are excited about. We had 10 kids come to help pick up litter because they think it's gross and they don't want to see that in their community. And when we posted it to the, again, unofficial Facebook, lots of people were heart reacting and said it was a great thing to do. So these policies can not only help reduce secondhand smoke, they can also help reduce litter. And if you do adopt a policy with us, we can provide you with free signs that include no smoke, say these are smoke-free grounds. We could put the Village of Owego logo on it and make sure that it has this no smoking cigarettes, no smoking vapes, and no cannabis, which can be incredibly helpful, especially now that it's legal and we're seeing a little bit more litter coming just from that. Are there any questions?
If you have questions for him.
I understand.
None? Do you think you'd be interested in a policy?
Don't know.
Maybe.
Okay.
Do you have any sample ones of
I
what
can-
they might look like?
Sample
Yeah.
marijuana?
I can,
Let it smoke shop.
so we do have like model policies that are from our public health law center. They're extremely long because they're meant for bigger cities.
I'm thinking like one other places around us have adopted. I don't know what other
Yeah, of course.
in Tioga County, like where
Mhm.
has adopted this.
Yeah, so the Village of North Valley in 2021 adopted this, and this included the vapes and cannabis as well. Mayor Jim Tornatore worked with us on that. He's really enjoyed it. We were able to provide him with the signs, and we go down to the trout ponds quite a bit just to see. Occasionally people still, litter there. People are going to be people, but a lot less. I grew up most of my life in North Valley, so I've noticed a big difference. And we also recently met with the Village of Spencer, and they're voting on their resolution at their next board meeting, which I believe is September. Well, it would have been September 3rd, but I believe that's the day after Labor Day. So I'm not sure if it'll be that week or the week after.
It might be good just to see what they're doing, just to get an idea.
Yeah, I can send you all a copy of the Village of North Valley's.
Sure, that'd be good.
Awesome, thank you.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. All right, department head reports.
Oh, yes, we have one more guest,
Oh, okay.
invited
I
guest.
see Aaron's online.
Yeah.
Aaron's there.
Hello.
Hi, Aaron.
Can everyone hear me okay?
Yep, you're good.
Okay, awesome. So I was invited on, my name is Erin Zitman. I am the intern that the village hired for their Clean Energy Communities program called Energy Choices Owego. I've been working with Laura very closely, and I'm sure a couple of you are already familiar with the work that we're doing. But I just wanted to come on and inform you a little bit about what the program is really doing and how it's going. And if you would like to share any information, that would be greatly appreciated. So the program again is called Energy Choices Owego. We have a couple partners, one being Network for Sustainable Tomorrow, NEST, which is where I'm from. Cornell Cooperative Extension of Tioga County has been working very closely with us, as well as Nexamp, which is a community solar developer. Then the three parts of the campaign mainly are we're trying to get people comfortable in their homes onto clean and efficient heating and cooling systems and to have more affordable electricity bills. So the way that we're trying to market that and get that to be a reality for people is, for example, for the comfort piece of the campaign, we want to advertise that NYSERDA can give people a free home energy assessment to see where you need to update weatherization, whether that be sealing up air leaks, whether that be updating insulation. And then in terms of getting clean heating and cooling systems, which is usually next step after weatherization, that is mainly focused on heat pumps, so air source, ground source heat pumps, heat pump water heaters, which are a lot more efficient. They of course have the upfront cost of installation, but there's a lot of financial resources available, which is also part of the campaign, is educating people about how to access those and what are the options for them based on their income eligibility or any other restrictions. And let's see. We have a couple competitively selected installer partners that we tend to use. CCE, Cornell Cooperative Extension, also has a couple, so if ours are not like able to take any more people, we can also field them to CCE. So there's rebates through the federal government, there's rebates through the state, and also tax credits. There's a couple different avenues for folks to save money, and that's basically what we really want to push people forward towards. And then the last thing, as I mentioned, we're working with Nexamp, which is a community solar developer across the US. They've been in the business for a couple decades, and they are developing a community solar project in Aurelius, New York. And because the village has experienced, all the flooding that it has, it is designated a disadvantaged community, as you probably are aware. And because of that, it has an opportunity for village residents to access 20% savings on their NYSEG bill annually by subscribing to the community solar array that Nexamp is building. So we're still working out some of the details and some of the kinks with Nexamp, but we're definitely getting to a better place, and we can start enrolling people to get onto that community solar project and start saving once it comes online. It's scheduled to come online in the fall. And there's no fees to join, no fees to leave. I know there's a lot of scam community solar companies out there, so we're really trying to let the public know that these are real people. This is a real project. The savings are real. There's not any fees that are going to cancel out those savings. So that's really the crux of the whole thing. And so far, we've had a couple media hits. We published an article in the Courier and the Penny Saver. We've had a couple presentations, one at Home Central, one at First Presbyterian Church. And so far, we've had about 18 leads that are specific to the village, but we've had a reach of about 60 contacts from the town of Owego and beyond, based on the events that we've had, and we're gonna try and expand that reach as much as we can. So yeah, we have some flyers Laura might have some. And if okay, there's also we have a landing page on Nest's website. So to access that, it's tinyurl.com/energy choices Owego. So the information's all there. If you are interested, if you know other people who might be interested, or if you know how we can kind of further our reach, that would be really appreciated. And yeah, I think that's everything we wanted to say, Laura.
Yeah, can you repeat back your URL?
Sure. Yes, it is. It's tinyurl.com/energy choices Owego.
Thank you.
And Aaron, how long are you with us?
That was gonna be my question too. Much longer?
Right. So I I will be working at Nest. I know our technically the period ended where I would be interning with you guys, but I will still be at Nest full time until September 23rd, and I can still use that time to work for the village. So I am fully willing to do that. Um, and then I will be moving on to a position with United Way, but I will still be doing some part-time work with Nest. So I definitely want to have some transition. I think another intern at Nest will be picking up some of the work, but I will definitely still be around and available to work with clients and like get information out there, do a presentation if necessary. So yeah.
So she's not leaving us exactly right away or anything. You know, they're willing to help us finish out the, the campaign and
Um, September 6th, I'm scheduled to be on WEBO again. If you want to come and give like that same pitch you just gave us on the radio.
Sure. Yeah, I can do that. So if you want to connect with me, I think you have my contact, maybe?
Yeah,
Or I can send you an email. I think that'd probably be best.
yeah. It's September 6th at 9 in the morning.
Okay. Awesome. I appreciate that. Okay, cool.
Yep.
Thank you guys.
thanks.
All right.
In the fair, we were helping out the fair a lot with all the water and millings that we milled from Dean and Fox Street to help them so they didn't get flooded out. Just the basic stuff that we've been mowing, cemetery. We do have on the cemetery that we need to take care of. We haven't had time to take care of that yet. Just the ongoing cemetery, all the green lots that we've been mowing and stuff like that. And that's about it. And we're closing the pool end of this month, the 31st.
I was gonna ask if I could set a time to come in and figure out the thermostats for this building, that we could like program the room controls or something.
They're controllable.
You can figure that out, you better.
Yeah, like if we, but like throughout the building, like we don't need to heat this room for many, for a lot of days, right? In time. So if we can like,
It'll shut off. It'll shut off. I
okay.
turned it down just a few minutes.
Oh, okay.
It was
So-
cold in here.
There's a master thing in the back.
Yeah, if we can like,
It's already
it
available.
got reset or like, okay,
Meg will get you in with that.
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, I guess there's like no heat in the bathrooms, but like we could like sort of set that up for,
There's a thermostat.
I know there's a lot of zones.
Yeah.
yeah. So just that we could like take a
I
look
don't
at
know
that
what
and
phone it is
adjust
yet.
them. Okay,
I have no idea.
so maybe I'll just try to do that with Nick or something. Okay.
Okay. Anything else, DPW? As far as other department heads, Paul's gonna send us a report. He didn't have anything. I talked to him, he didn't have anything. I haven't heard from Dirk, sewage plant, so I assume everything's good there. We heard from Joe.
Yeah, I have, and Eric is down right now. He's of ill health, so he'll go back here when he's better. Yep, we got two things from Joe. We had, well, they're both similar things. We need to hire another SRO officer. One of them, Ben, has left, and so we have to fill his position if we're intending to do any of that stuff. And there's a candidate, and Joe has interviewed him, and the committee with Dave and Charles and I have interviewed him, and we're going to be recommending to hire him. Do that in a minute. And then also we have the this coming year's SRO contract, which needs to be approved and sent to the school so that they can approve it.
Yeah.
So we can get that,
Meeting tonight.
so that they can get that rolling. So that being said, the gentleman's name is Scott Carpenter. He is a retired ND cop policeman, 20 years there. He was a Shenango sheriff before that for 9 or 10 years. Just retired recently, has had a child, and seems to be we believe that he is interested, very interested in this, very interested in the community, very interested in the children, and we believe that he will be a good SRO. Dave, want to jump in there?
Yeah, we interviewed him last week and was very impressed with how he relates to children, the school community. He hasn't had a lot of experience with them other than his kids, but he's got the right attitude. He's very positive outlook and looking forward to becoming an SRO officer to keep our schools safe as possible and to work with the children. So I recommend him highly.
So that being said,
Where's he from?
he lives in, I'm sorry, he lives in Shenango County, lives up near Joe, so maybe he'll try to work with Joe. Anyway, that being said, I would like to make a motion that we hire Scott Carpenter as a special patrol officer. And SRO, he has to be a special patrol officer to be the SRO, and SRO at the rate of $48,000 per year.
Is that the new rate?
Yeah, that has gone up. That's not part of my motion. You got my motion.
So that's the rate of the new contract.
Second.
All right, any other?
So ask about him now or anything you want to know or ask or whatever.
My only question was, that's the rate of the new contract.
Yes, it was 42 and now it's 48, and everyone is struggling to get SROs. Each county, the district attorney gets to decide whether he wants to be in charge of the SRO or not. Binghamton Matiste is, and so his office hires them. They probably pay more than we do. If the DA doesn't want to do it, then the state law says that the municipality and the school get to negotiate that and do it. Right. So anyway, that's just a quick blurb on that.
Have you seen the school? He has seen the school. He's been through the school with you.
I don't know that he has gone, we certainly didn't take him on a tour of the school, no. And also, we don't know, we have 4 officers and there's 4 schools, so we don't, they're kind of assigned to one, but they also move around a little bit, so I don't know which one he's been.
Right, well, Ben had.
That's all.
He
Ben
was here.
was, but which one, I don't even know which one he was.
He was in a.
They all kind of have a home base, but I know they do all rotate, so the kids kind of get to know.
Yes.
Yeah, and may I add that Charles also had his blessing on this.
Excellent.
All right, shall we vote on him?
Yes.
Laura,
Yes.
Dave,
Yes.
Carrie,
Yes.
and yes. Should we do the contract now?
Let's do it.
So this, it says discuss the contract. So the only changes in the contract are a negotiated new rate with the school. So the school reimburses us 100% plus a little bit for their equipment, uniforms. And they also bought cars. There's one cars out there in the school. So the changes in the contract, last year they bought us a car. This year they don't have to because we have the car. We have a car for each school now, so they don't have to buy cars.
So we have 4 cars. We're supposed to have 4 cars.
So we took the car out and we changed the price to reflect the new rate. That's the changes.
We took the buying of the car out because we already have the,
Right.
the cars. I was confused about it. We're not going to talk about this in great detail. I was slightly confused about it because I thought we were going to own those cars, but apparently according to this, we don't own those cars.
Yeah.
But it does, it is what it is. But they're supplied and they're paid for by them and maintained by them, et cetera, et cetera.
School does all the road changes, put tires on.
So since this is, in essence, the same contract we've had right along, I'm going to be making a motion in a moment that we approve this. I read through it a couple times in the last couple days. There's a bunch of little things in here, like all these contracts and all the language that probably aren't spiffy right on, and I'm just not gonna play with that, right? It's the same thing we've been using. I'm not gonna start fussing about 15 little things that ought to be said better or not exact right. So I'm going to move that we approve this, the school resource agreement as presented.
I'd like to second that.
Yep, only discussion is the contract is the vehicle that gets the school to pay us or ties them to paying us, and it's been working, so. It's not working.
So we technically only have 3 vehicles, 3 SRO vehicles. What's that? Is that a problem?
Can't see it. Anybody read that? What's it say?
You will be sorry if you.
It's gonna say that we have to update.
A reboot. Please save your stuff. System's going to reboot in 10 minutes.
Oh, God. Okay. Well, we'll come
It's a
back.
message from Tioga County, New York.
Yeah, it's, we can be done.
Laura, to address your issue,
Whatever reboots, we'll come back.
on 3 cars, at the middle school, high school, there is only 1 entrance for both buildings.
Right.
So all of the students and any parent who goes to pick up a student goes to the middle school entrance. So I believe that they're keeping the cars in front of the schools. People do not come in those other doors, the high school doors anymore. No students go in that. There are teachers occasionally that'll badge in that way. You know, therapists running from one building to another, my past life. But I don't believe they've had one out in front of the high school because it's really the middle school where the entrance is.
Right.
So I think if you're looking for that visual at the entrance, that is the entrance that they use for both schools. So they probably will need 3.
Right, yeah, no, they always have it out at the middle
Right.
school.
And both officers being in the school, those schools are fairly well connected. There are, openings all over the place from one school to the other. There's doors that can close and such, fire doors and such, but I think that's probably would be the reason for just 3 cars, not 4.
Well, you just did all the car inventory, so you say there's 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's 3.
Right. But I think, I bet you if you went and looked at it during the school time, if you were driving
Yeah,
past
it makes
that,
sense.
you would see it in front of the middle school. It would not be in front of the high school because no one really goes in there.
Well, the entrance for both schools is the middle school.
Correct.
And it even, like, what now it says Owego Free Academy and Owego Athletic Middle School.
Right.
Like, I was just talking about the money, like, because we got money for the cars before, and since they're adding an office, they want to add an officer. They don't want to add another
How
car.
do you mean? We
They're
got
not
4
adding any
cars
others.
before.
Oh, Ben retired,
Right.
so
We're
they're
just,
replacing him.
We've had 4 right along. We had been last year, so we're not going from 3 to 4. We already have 4 officers this year.
Were they fully stocked? I thought we only had 3 out of the 4 working.
no, all 4.
We've had 4.
All last year, we had 4 working.
Well, whether it was all last year, I mean, I don't know if we got one later, maybe we got one in September, but we had 4 basically for the year.
Yeah, there's an officer for there's only 3 entrances to 4 schools, if that makes sense.
Which, well, whatever, I mean,
And their,
although the idea of tying a
their
car to
theory
an
on the
entrance is
car-
whatever, I don't know.
Their theory on the car was so that if you pull up there to go into school, you see that the cops are there. Because they're not even real cop cars, they're Malibus. They're not a car to go chase somebody in. There are real cop cars, but they're not pursuit cars.
Where do they leave those cars in the evening?
They take them home.
That's what I thought. They get, yeah, that's a spiff of the job. You get to take the car home, okay.
'Cause we
Well,
have
that
no
being the
questions.
case, maybe we should ask the school for another car.
Maybe. We can talk to them about that.
We've got 4 SRO guys.
The price that we're getting per officer went down.
Right, what?
The price we're getting per officer went down, so.
It
I mean,
went
we were-
down?
Yeah, we were getting 50,000 per officer before.
No, we get,
It's broken up a little different.
that's how much the officer's getting. The officer's salary went up from 42 to 48. We get an extra amount on that to take care of all of our expenses. So we're getting the 8 extra on top of the 48 now.
I don't see that,
There's your benefits.
I don't see it in the written out here.
In the
It's
total
written the
cost.
same way it was written before, which is not the most clear way in the world, where it says that the
It's on the total cost.
the total could be up to $224,000.
So if you take the 224 divided by 4, it's not, you get the amount with benefits and.
Remember, I told you there's some things in there that aren't exactly said perfectly.
But it doesn't even say it.
No, it does, right here. For the consideration of the village, providing SROs as described herein, the district agrees to reimburse the village for the village's expenses. Now, that doesn't say that, what that is exactly there, including, meaning this is one of the expenses, but not limited to the SRO's compensation in the amount of $48,000 per SRO per year. The rest of the village expenses that we're going to get are in the next part of the sentence, which says prorated for any project to go, an amount not to exceed 224,000.
But also, we're not supposed to make money.
No, but this is to pay for, we gotta
But
pay
that
for,
pays
we gotta pay for
the other stuff.
all the equipment, we gotta pay for social security, we gotta pay for all those things.
So that's the way they do it, so we don't make money.
Yeah, no, we're not making money, but that's the way it's written, even though it
It
might
pays
be
for the
written more
expenses,
clearly,
not
but.
extra.
Well, yeah, we gotta cover the expenses.
No, I'm with you, I told you, there's a bunch of things in here that could be written better, but that's the way it's been written, and it takes care of it. You good?
All right, do we have any more comments on the agreement?
Just because of the last couple of years, there was talk from the chief about adding, long-range rifles to the equipment of the SROs. And I'm against them wearing those or having them on display around the children.
I understand, and you have been before, but that's not in the
That's
contract.
contract.
It's not in
Well,
the
so
contract.
what it says in the contract is that the village will supply them with a sidearm and a radio.
Correct.
And that's fine, but we're not saying that we're supplying them with a sidearm and a long arm rifle and a radio to wear.
We had this discussion, the same exact discussion with the same exact wording last time. The contract doesn't say that we can't, and it does, but it doesn't say that the school will pay for it, demand it. It's simply not addressed in this thing. And if you remember from before, we didn't want to be telling the bad guys what we have and where we have it and what's going on. We didn't want that out there.
You know, it's all up to the chief and the school.
That's one of the reasons it's not in there.
Right. I'm against the police state where a kid would see an armed person when they're entering a facility, because like when you see that, you feel like there must be a need for it, or you just feel like, I mean, if you see a gun, it's scary. And so I'm opposed to having that environment. Like a kid entering their school should see nice posters, should, have hugs and smiles and stuff like that. And I don't want them to see guns. So.
I'm of the opposite mindset, because just today, a car got stolen in the village, carjacked at gunpoint. So, the world's scary.
But point well taken about the children, and that's gone well. We haven't had armed guys march around with boots and rifles. So
And in my experience, where I have seen
you're there.
great interaction with the SROs in our schools and the elementary school. And that was really been, that was my home base, the two elementary schools here. So I do feel that having them there has been a positive in many ways. And that's good. None of the children are scared of them. I mean, in fact, some of them would beg for Mr. Ben to walk them down to their room or something. So he had a good relationship. Mr. Wilkes at the other school, the same with the elementary school kids. And I think it gives them a sense of stability also. And that's a good thing.
But one more time, I know, because we talked about this a lot of times, about your concern about the weapons and the kids. But it's not like the old West. They're not carrying a great big holster with a gun sticking out. In fact, the guys will have it, the kids won't see it. It's gonna be tucked away. They don't want that out there. So they're not flouting guns. But I will tell you one last piece. We only got 4 of us. No, we got 5 of us. I was gonna say, if you don't vote for this tonight, we can't pass this. We can't have this SRO. But I forgot that there are 5 of us now. Now, you don't have to vote for it. That's up to you. I understand how you feel.
And I mean, I think the other thing is the reality is that most of the kids understand about school shootings. They have, by New York State law, they have to practice an active shooter drill in the schools. They understand that there is some weight to that, but in the 60s and 70s, we used to practice being under our desks.
We had to, for the nuclear war that was bomb that was coming.
I remember that distinctly as a second grader. Did it scar me? Hopefully not too bad. But I mean, I do think I would rather have the SROs there and have some more protection for our kids and our teachers than not, for sure. And I agree with you, long rifles